Hi, this is the reading for Monday, May 8th, pages 475 to 480. So we'll get started. That's my screensaver. We are starting the last book, book 24 of the Iliad. We're skipping book 23 so that we can finish it, and that is just book 23 is Patroclus' funeral and the funeral games that Achilles holds in honor of Patroclus. All right. And the games broke up, and the people scattered to go away, each man to his fast-running ship. And the rest of them took thought of their dinner and of sweet sleep and its enjoyment. Only Achilles wept still as he remembered his beloved companion. Nor did sleep, who subdues all, come over him, but he tossed from one side to the other in longing for Patroclus, for his manhood and his great strength and all the actions he had seen to the end with him, and the hardships he had suffered, the wars of men, hard crossings of the big waters. Remembering all these things, he let fall the swelling tears, lying sometimes along his side, sometimes on his back, and now again prone on his face. Then he would stand upright and pace, turning in distraction along the beach of the sea. Nor did dawn rising escape him as she brightened across the sea and the beaches. Then when he had yoked running horses under the chariot, he would fasten Hector behind the chariot so as to drag him and draw him 3 times around the tomb of Menelaos' fallen son, then rest again in his shelter and throw down the dead man and leave him to lie sprawled on his face in the dust. But Apollo had pity on him, though he was only a dead man, and guarded the body from all ugliness and hid all of it under the golden aegis so that it might not be torn when Achilles dragged it. So Achilles, in his standing fury, outraged great Hector. The blessed gods, as they looked upon him, were filled with compassion and kept urging clear-sighted Agriphantes to steal the body. This was pleasing to all the others, but never to Hera. Nor Poseidon, nor the girl of the gray eyes. Do you remember who the girl of the gray eyes is? Gray-eyed Athena, who kept still their hatred for sacred Ilion as in the beginning, and for Priam and his people because of the delusion of Paris, who insulted the goddesses when they came to him in his courtyard, and favored her who supplied the lust that led to disaster. But now, as it was the 12th dawn after the death of Hector, Phoebus Apollo spoke his word out among the immortals. You are hard, you gods, and destructive. Now did not Hector burn thigh pieces of oxen and unblemished goats in your honor? Now you cannot bring yourselves to save him, though he is only a corpse, for his wife to look upon, his child and his mother, and Priam his father and his people, who presently thereafter would burn his body in the fire and give him his rites of burial. No, you gods, your desire is to help this cursed Achilles, within whose breast there are no feelings of justice, nor can his mind be bent, but his purposes are fierce, like a lion, who when he was given way to his own great strength and his haughty spirit, goes among the flocks of men to devour them. So Achilles has destroyed pity and there is not in him any shame, which does much harm to men, but profits them also. For a man must some day lose one who is even closer than this, a brother from the same womb, or a son. And yet he weeps for him and sorrows for him, and then it is over. For the destinies put in mortal men the heart of endurance. But this man, now he has torn the heart of life from great Hector, ties him to his horses, and drags him around his beloved companion's tomb, and nothing is gained thereby for his good or his honor. Great as he is, let him take care not to make us angry. For see, he does dishonor to the dumb earth in his fury. Then bitterly Hera of the white arms answered him, saying, What you have said could be true, Lord of the silver bow, only if you give Hector such pride of place as you give to Achilles. But Hector was mortal and suckled at the breast of a woman, while Achilles is the child of a goddess, one whom I myself nourished and brought up, and gave her as bride to her husband Peleus, one dear to the hearts of the immortals. For you all went, you gods, to the wedding, and you too feasted among them and held your lyre, O friend of the evil, faithless forever. In turn, Zeus, who gathers the clouds, spoke to her in answer. Hera, be not utterly angry with the gods, for there shall not be the same pride of place given both. Yet Hector also was loved by the gods, best of all the mortals in Iliad. I loved him too. He never failed of gifts to my liking. Never yet has my altar gone without fair sacrifice. The smoke and the savor of it, since that is our portion of honor. The stealing of him we will dismiss, for it is not possible to take bold Hector secretly from Achilles, since always his mother is near him day and night. But it would be better if one of the gods would summon Thetis here to my presence, so that I can say a close word to her, and see that Achilles is given gifts by Priam, and gives back the body of Hector. He spoke, and Iris, storm-footed, sprang away with the message, and at a point between Samos and Imbros of the high cliffs, plunged in the dark water, and the sea crashed, moaning about her. She plummeted to the sea floor like a lead weight, which, mounted along the horn of an ox who ranges the fields, goes downward, and takes death with it to the raw, ravening fish. She found Thetis inside the hollow of her cave, and gathered about her sat the rest of the sea goddesses, and she in their midst was mourning the death of her blameless son, who so soon was destined to die in Troy of the rich soil, far from the land of his fathers. Iris the swift-foot came close beside her and spoke to her. Rise, Thetis. Zeus, whose purposes are infinite, calls you. In turn, Thetis, the goddess, the silver-footed, answered her, What does he, the great god, want with me? I feel shamefast to mingle with the immortals, and my heart is confused with sorrows. But I will go. No word shall be in vain if he says it. So she spoke, and shining among the divinities, took up her black veil, and there is no darker garment. She went on her way, and in front of her rapid, wind-footed Iris guided her, and the wave of the water opened about them. They stepped out on the dry land and swept to the sky. There they found the son of Cronos of the wide brows, and gathered about him sat all the rest of the gods, the blessed, who live forever. She sat down beside Zeus' father, and Athena made a place for her. Hera put into her hand a beautiful golden goblet and spoke to her to comfort her, and Thetis, accepting, drank from it. The father of gods and men began the discourse among them. You have come to Olympus, divine Thetis, for all your sorrow, with an unforgotten grief in your heart. I myself know this. But even so, I will tell you why I summoned you hither. For 9 days there has arisen a quarrel among the immortals over the body of Hector and Achilles, stormer of cities. They keep urging clear-sighted Agrifontes to steal the body, but I still put upon Achilles the honor that he has, guarding your reverence and your love for me into time afterwards. Go then in all speed to the encampment, and give to your son this message. Tell him that the gods frown upon him, that beyond all other immortals I myself am angered that in his heart's madness he holds Hector beside the curved ships, and did not give him back. Perhaps in fear of me he will give back Hector. Then I will send Iris to Priam of the great heart with an order to ransom his dear son, going down to the ships of the Achaeans, and bringing gifts to Achilles which might soften his anger. He spoke, and the goddess Silverfoot Thetis did not disobey him, but descended in a flash of speed from the peaks of Olympus, and made her way to the shelter of her son, and there found him in close lamentation, and his beloved companions about him were busy at their work and made ready the morning meal, and there stood a great fleecy sheep being sacrificed in the shelter. His honored mother came close to him and sat down beside him, and stroked him with her hand, and called him by name, and spoke to him. My child, how long will you go on eating your heart out in sorrow and lamentation, and remember neither your food nor going to bed? It is a good thing even to lie with a woman in love, for you will not be with me long, but already death and powerful destiny stand closely above you. But listen hard to me, for I come from Zeus with a message. He says that the gods frown upon you, that beyond all other immortals he himself is angered, that in your heart's madness you told Hector beside the curved ships and did not redeem him. You hold Hector beside the curved ships. Come then, give him up and accept ransom for the body. Then in turn Achilles of the swift feet answered her. So be it. He can bring the ransom and take off the body, if the Olympian himself so urgently bids it. I just want to pause here because that when I read that, it really struck me that every time somebody asks something of Achilles, he refuses, and this time it was so easy. He just says, so be it. It's like, okay. He just agrees. So where the ships were drawn together, the son and his mother conversed at long length in winged words. But the son of Cronos stirred Iris to go down to sacred Ilion, saying, Go forth, Iris the swift, leaving your place on Olympus, and go to Priam of the great heart within Ilion. Tell him to ransom his dear son, going down to the ships of the Achaeans and bringing gifts to Achilles, which might soften his anger. Alone, let no other man of the Trojans go with him, but only let one elder herald attend him, one who can manage the mules and the easily running wagon, so he can carry the dead man whom great Achilles slew, back to the city. Let death not be a thought in his heart. Let him have no fear. Such an escort shall I send to guide him, Agrifontes, who shall lead him until he brings him to Achilles. And after he has brought him inside the shelter of Achilles, neither will the man himself kill him, but will hold back all the others. For he is no witless man nor unwatchful, nor is he wicked, but will in all kindness spare one who comes to him as a suppliant. He spoke, and storm-footed Iris swept away with the message and came to the house of Priam. There she found outcry and mourning, The sons sitting around their father inside the courtyard made their clothes sodden with their tears, and among them the old man sat veiled, beaten into his mantle. Dung lay thick on the head and neck of the aged man, for he had been rolling in it. He had gathered and smeared it on with his hands, and his daughters all up and down the house, and the wives of his sons were mourning, as they remembered all those men in their numbers and valor, who lay dead, their lives perished at the hands of the Argives. The messenger of Zeus stood beside Priam and spoke to him in a small voice, and yet the shivers took hold of his body. Take heart, Priam, son of Dardanos. Do not be frightened. I come to you not eyeing you with evil intention, but with a purpose of good toward you. I am a messenger of Zeus, who far away cares much for you and is pitiful. The Olympian orders you to ransom Hector the brilliant and bring gifts to Achilles which may soften his anger. Alone, let no other man of the Trojans go with you, but only let one elder herald attend you, one who can manage the mules and the easily running wagon, so he can carry the dead man, whom great Achilles slew, back to the city. Let death not be a thought in your heart. You need have no fear. Such an escort shall go with you to guide you, Agriphantes, who will lead you till he brings you to Achilles. And after he has brought you inside the shelter of Achilles, neither will the man himself kill you, but will hold back all the others. For he is no witless man, nor unwatchful, nor is he wicked, but will in all kindness spare one who comes to him as a suppliant. So Iris the swift-footed spoke and went away from him. Thereupon he ordered his sons to make ready the easily rolling mule wagon and to fasten upon it the carrying basket. And actually at that line, that's where I'm going to stop. So we got to page 480. And the thoughts that I had about this were, we might think of this 2,800-year-old story would be about tradition, but what we see is Achilles breaking tradition a couple times. First, when maybe not first, but the first thing that comes to my mind is when Agamemnon sends all those gifts as an apology, and we are told in the story that tradition says, and I think it's Ajax who reminds Achilles that tradition says he should accept those gifts. And he doesn't. He rejects them. He breaks with tradition. And again, now he's killed Hector, and usually tradition says you strip off the armor, but you leave the body so that your enemies can come pick it up and give him a proper burial. But he doesn't. He keeps the body and he drags it around. And they say I think Zeus says there is no honor in that. But he drags it around for 12 days. So, yeah, instead of, we learn about the traditions, but Achilles, we might call him a breaker of traditions. And that's our reading for Monday. Thanks.